The Bicycle Fence. Written by Tom Knoll. Illustrated by Brandon Fall. The Bicycle Fence. In the small town of Greenville, not very far away, lives a creative young boy named LT. For LT, an idea never stays a thought. It becomes an adventure. LT used to be known as Little Tommy, but when he outgrew his shirts, pants, and shoes all in one summer, everyone started calling him LT. That boy is growing faster than the weeds grow in our garden, said LT's dad. LT also outgrew his bike, and he needed a bike to get to and from school. So LT's dad took him to Recycleville, Mr. Salvage's junkyard and recycling center, to find one. Recycleville. LT's dad loved to recycle. He got parts for his pickup truck from Mr. Salvage, but he never painted them to match. So his truck had a blue cab, yellow hood, red and orange doors, a green bed, and a purple tailgate. LT sometimes felt a little embarrassed riding in it, especially when people called out, "Here comes the junkyard truck." He hoped his bicycle wouldn't turn out the same. There's Mr. Salvage. When LT and his dad arrived at Recycleville, Mr. Salvage pointed out some cans of red paint and asked if they wanted to paint the truck red. "No, thanks," said LT's dad. "I like my recycled rainbow truck." "One man's trash is another man's treasure," LT's dad liked to say. He said that even Rex and Sebastian, the family dog and cat, were recycled because they were rescued from the animal shelter. LT had learned from his teacher, Miss White, how recycling and going green helped save the planet. He was proud of his dad, but he still wished he could have a brand new bike instead of a recycled one. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Save our planet. And there's Miss White. Mr. Salvage showed LT and his dad 6 different bikes that were the right size for LT, but they were all rusty. "We can take the parts from all these bikes and make a good bike," said LT's dad. LT worried that it would look like a recycled rainbow bike, but he didn't say anything so as not to hurt his dad's feelings. They put all the bikes in the back of the truck and headed home. At home, LT's dad selected one or two parts from each bike and began to connect them together. Sure enough, when he was finished, LT's new bike looked just like LT was afraid it would look. A blue fender, red body, and green handlebars, and lots of rust. It worked well enough, but LT worried about riding it to school. He hoped no one would call him or it a junkyard bike. LT frowned. He needed to come up with an idea, and fast. Mom had some white paint, so maybe he could disguise his bike. He could paint it white and call it White Lightning. The white was for Miss White, because she was so nice. And the lightning, because it was fast, just like LT would be on his new bike. LT worked all weekend, carefully painting his new bike. By Monday, White Lightning was finished. Usually, he was unhappy about wearing a bicycle helmet. He knew it would keep him safe, but he didn't like how it looked. So, he put on one of Dad's hats to disguise it. LT felt so proud riding it to school. He had a new bike, and he had helped save the planet. That afternoon, Mom asked if LT would keep an eye on his little sister Sue for a while. Sue was very active. Even Rex, who was good at herding sheep, quickly got tired of helping keep Sue safe in the yard. If only we had a picket fence, like the other houses on the street, thought LT to himself. Then Sue and Rex could run all around like they liked, and it would be easy to keep an eye on them. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed the leftover bikes that he and Dad had brought home from Recycleville. That gave LT another idea. "Cowabunga!" he yelled, and ran to his bedroom. He grabbed a pile of clothes he had outgrown and ran back out to the yard. He lined up all the leftover and outgrown bikes. Then, one by one, he tied them together using his old shirts, socks, pants, and a belt. Next day, LT with his dad lined up and secured all the bikes in the front of the house to create a fence. Then he painted them all white with the leftover paint. When he was done, LT looked at his new white fence with pride. Old Mr. Smith, the neighbor, called out, "Nice fence, LT." "Thanks," LT replied. "One man's trash is another man's treasure." This has been the greatest summer. LT likes to think about all the adventures he will have creatively recycling and saving the planet. And here is the all grown up LT. He has his own recycled rainbow truck and white bicycle fence. The end. The Bicycle Fence, written by Tom Knoll, illustrated by Brandon Fall.